Hello and welcome to my channel Happy Hours. In my last video, I discussed about the budget, deficit trends and finance commission. I was discussing about the finance commission in detail and I have discussed about few topics. Now I'm going to proceed further with the 15th finance commission and the vertical imbalance. The 15th finance commission suggested that not less than 41% share should be given to the state from the central taxes and the estimated amount is rupees 42 lakh 24,760 crores for 5 years. Now the statutory grants under Article 275 is 10 lakh 33,062 crores. Thus, total resource transfer from the center to the state is 52 lakh 57,822 crores. The role of share in the taxes is 80.3%, while the grant is 19.65% in the total resource transfer. It is for the betterment of the state as they are getting more flexibility to use their money. Because whenever union is giving a grant, they are giving with certain conditions. So the problems of the states cannot be resolved. So but the fact is the state cannot be given complete freedom, so the grants cannot be completely avoided. There are some national goals which has to be achieved. That's why whenever the government is giving a grant, they are putting some conditions also, so that the states are having some bindness to the union and they can play the role in achieving the national goals. Next point is 15th Finance Commission and the horizontal imbalance. We have to understand the various dimensions of the commission formula, and that is first is the population, which is for 15% weightage, demographic performance, which is for 12.5%, income distance 45%, area 15%, tax effort 2.5%, and forest and ecology for 10%. Now let us understand the different parameters. First is the population. The base year is 2011 and the percent of population of state with respect to the whole population of country is evaluated. The one who is having higher population will get more share of money. The state with having more population, they will have the less development. So the state will get more money to get a better chance to improve or to develop. Because of this, there was the conflict in between the states and the India and the country, because the states which have worked hard to reduce their population, they are asking that why we are being giving less percentage of the money, because if we have worked hard means we should be rewarded. So for this, to resolve this problem, they came with the other feature, which is the demographic performance. The demographic performance criterion has been used to reward efforts made by states in controlling their population. So the states which have worked hard in reducing their population, now they can have more share of the money. So the states with lower fertility ratio will be scored higher on this criteria. Now the next parameter is income distance. The income distance is the distance of the state's income from the state with the highest income. The income of the state has been computed as average per capita GSDP during the 3 year between 2016-17 and 2018-19. A state with lower capita income will have a higher share to maintain equity among the states. Now the next is the forest and ecology. The interior has been arrived. The criteria has been arrived at by calculating the share of the dense forest of each state in the total dense forest of the state. Means the part of the states which are having more forest or density of forest, they will have the higher share of the money. This is to promote the state to maintain the forest and there will be less deforestation. Next criteria is very important criteria, and that is the tax and fiscal effort. The report is this criteria has been used to reward the state with the higher tax collection efficiency. Now, the state which have worked higher, or the people who have paid tax in the state, that state is going to get more share. It is measured as a ratio of the average per capita state GDP during the 3 years between 2016-17 and 2018-19. And the last is the area. As we have understood, we can generalize it as the state with more bigger area will get more share of money, because they have to maintain a larger area. So by this I'm coming to the next topic, which is the 16th Finance Commission. It was constituted under the chairmanship of Mr. Arvind Panagdia, and it was recommended for the period 2026 to 31. 5 years. Report is to be submitted by October 2025. Now proceeding to the next very important topic, which is the goods and service tax. It was introduced in the year 2017, and it is known as the goods and service tax. It is an indirect tax which has replaced many indirect taxes in India, such as the excise duty, VAT, services tax, etc. The Goods and Service Tax Act was passed in the Parliament on 29th March 2017 and came into effect on 1st July 2017. In other words, goods and services tax is levied on the supply of goods and services. Goods and Services Tax law in India is a comprehensive, multi-stage, destination-based tax that is levied on every value addition. GST is a single domestic indirect tax law for the entire country. Before the Goods and Services Tax could be introduced, the structure of indirect tax levy in India was as follows. Buying raw material, there they have to give VAT. Manufacture, again VAT plus excise duty. Then sale to wholesaler or warehousing, again VAT. Sale to retailer, again VAT, for final sale to consumer. Under the GST regime, the tax is levied at every point of sale. In the case of intra-state sales, central GST and state GST are charged. All the interstate sales are chargeable to the integrated GST. Now let us understand other features. The nature of GST. We can say the GST is VAT, value added tax, and therefore it is imposed finally on the value addition to be done during the sale and production of goods and services. There are multi-stage. First, to purchase the raw material, then the production of manufacture, then warehousing, then selling to wholesaler, then sale of the product to the retailer, and finally selling to the end consumer. It is to be noted that the GST at the time of implementation is imposed on the total value of various transactions, but producers, service providers, traders, etc. are given the benefit of ITC, which is input tax credit. Due to ITC, GST converts into the value addition tax. Under ITC, producers, service providers, traders, etc. are allowed to offset input taxes from the taxes which they need to pay. So the consumers are not going to be given the benefit of ITC. We can understand this with an example. Suppose we are having 4 stages, I have mentioned already, like A, B, C, D, where first is to purchase the raw material. Suppose we have spent it rupees 40. Next stage, when we are going to give it to the manufacturer, or after manufacturing, again it is going to have rupees 60. So from the GST is rupees 4 for the first stage, and GST for the second stage will be 6. So ITC is going to become by 6 minus 4, which is going to rupees 2. This is going to be given to the A. Then this, then comes C, then that is going to get rupees 80 after the warehousing is done, or we can say the selling to the wholesaler. Now the product price is rupees 80. Now GST is on it, will become 10% of it, which is 8. Now ITC is going to become rupees 8 minus rupees 6, which is again rupees 2. And the last, when it is going to be sold to the consumer, that the final price will be rupees 100 and GST will rupees 10. Now if we are going to subtract rupees 10 minus rupees 8, it is going to become rupees 2 again. The GST will become rupees 4 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, which is rupees 10. It is going to given to the government, and the consumer, they are going to pay rupees 110, and he has to pay, and he is not going to get any return. And final collection of GST is rupees 10, as I have mentioned. Traders, they are not under indirect taxes, only the consumer will pay the indirect taxes. When producers are acting like consumers, they are also going to pay the GST or indirect taxes. And it is on the business purpose. If they are having some claim, they can claim that yes, I have used this facility on the business purpose, so they can claim the GST. More value addition and more profit, then there will be more corporate tax. It is for the traders. If suppose they are adding more values, and so they are going to have more profit, that's why they are not on increasing their price to very high level, because whenever there is a reduction in price or the price is very low, then the consumption increases, and because of this the profit is also going to get increased, and due to which, if the profit is increased, there will be more corporate tax. So it is the final benefit of the government. Now let us understand what is the benefit of GST. The cascading effect is removed. Under cascading effect, taxes paid on the previous stages were move ahead. It ensures lower prices for goods and services. Next, programs like Make in India, etc., can be easily promoted. Tax evasion can be controlled due to cross checking of invoices. Lastly, exports are promoted because the GST is not imposed on the exports, while the exporters can claim ITC. Means they are not going to be double taxes, as we know that when we are exporting, when any trader is exporting, then they have to pay a tax at the border of the importing country. So there will be two taxes. So to reduce this, the government is not taking any taxes from the traders. So the export is with the 0% GST. If the word GST is mentioned here, it means ITC will be there. And there is another concept, that is the GST exempt goods. When this word is used, it means that good is not under GST, and it means there will be no ITC. Now let us understand the feature of Indian GST. There are three important features. First is dualistic, means there are two components of GST. First is CGST, means centered GST, and the other one is SGST or UTGST, means S is stand for state and UT stand for union territory. Next is the destination based. In the interstate trade, the SGST at the consumer level is retained by the importers or destination state. Thus, the origin state cannot take collection of SGST at the consumer level. Whatever tax manufacturer is paying, he is going to take it back. So, next year, and the final feature is consumption based. The collection, or we can say the net collection from the GST, critically depends on the level of consumption. By this, I am going to conclude my video. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.